Hi, everyone, and welcome to this issue of Monday Mindset Mastery. It is May 12th, 2025, in case you're watching this years from now, because I'm sure it's going to be something you're going to watch forever. I am Lori McDowell. Today is the day after Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all those mothers and all those who may not be mothers, but do what mothers do because they're really important. I am really excited today to have Lisa Dunford Dickman here as my guest. Lisa hosts transformational retreats, and she has a very, very special retreat, which I am so excited to attend. I can't go this year, but hopefully next year in Africa, which is amazing. That's what's on my bucket list. So, Lisa, welcome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and how you got to doing African retreats and such?
Thank you, Lori. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. I am always excited to share about Africa. I'm a transformational coach, I'm an art medicine woman, and I'm a transformational Sea to Safari African retreat leader, which is one of my biggest joys in the world. What I know for sure is that when we connect to wonder, when we connect to that oneness that we are always a part of, when we are willing to heal any remnants of playing it safe patterns and love all our parts, we really do become limitless. And so much of that for me was learned in Africa. Because even for me, before I became a coach, I was a travel writer for Lonely Planet guidebooks for 15 years.
Um,
And on my own and with my husband, I've lived in 5 countries and I speak 4 languages, 5 if you count Texan, because that's kind of its own language sometimes. And I always loved traveling. Place was always very important to me. I've always been lit up by different cultures and different peoples and the way they live in the world. It's always struck me that it's very hard to be small minded when you travel because you see, we all have the same needs. We all want to take care of our families. We all want to provide for ourselves. We all need, love and nurturance and support. And there are so many different ways to get those basic needs met. And so it just becomes really hard to see your way as the only way.
mm,
So
I love
travel
that.
has always been transformational for me, but Africa felt a little too far for me, even somebody who'd lived in Abu Dhabi and Seoul, South Korea. Africa was on my bucket list too, like yours, and it felt a little far. It felt a little exotic. It felt maybe unsafe. I didn't know. And so after I walked the Camino pilgrimage route in Spain, I just did the last 100 kilometers, but for me, that was huge because I walked 100 kilometers and I am not in shape. I'm not in shape. Like, I hardly did any training. When I did walk, it was in Pancake Flat, Abu Dhabi, and Pancake Flat, South Texas. And I showed up, and southern Spain has a lot of hills, a lot of hills.
Mm, yeah.
And so I really turned over that journey. And I know that I didn't take that walk alone, that God was really with me. And so many magical things happened, which is an episode in the future, maybe.
Yes.
But the upshot was a friend asked me afterwards what was my big takeaway. And I said, it is really hard to say anything's impossible because that walk was impossible for me alone. And I did it.
Mm, I love that idea. Yeah, to say, that's something that, I want to talk about Africa a little bit too, but first, the idea that everything is possible. That's something that I work with my
Yes.
clients because the only limits on us are the ones we set on ourselves. And, when we talk about Africa, I think a lot of people feel like Africa, it's too foreign. It's another world. We can go to Australia, we can go to other places, but it is scary, not just, we hear a lot about uprisings and things that happen in Africa, but also the animals, like they're scary
Hmm.
sometimes too. I mean,
They
and
could be.
they could be, but yet it is something that we're talking about the power of place. And I know for you, Africa is a truly magical, sacred place, different than anywhere else in the world. And even when you and I've not been there, but when I hear about it, it sounds. I mean, it almost sounds otherworldly in a way because it is so different than anything we experience, especially those of us, living in the United States, Canada, Europe, places where they are pretty, we don't have, even in the most remote places, we don't have lions running around or things that are just totally different. So tell us a little bit about the African experience. And then I
Of
do want to get back
course.
to just travel in general and places.
No, of course. So travel led me to the African experience, but it's one of the components of loving the power of place. But also for me, the power of place is in nature, like in the nature of a place. And so after I walked that Camino, I decided, so my friend asked what I would I do if nothing was impossible. And I said, go to Africa. And so I bought a little ceramic elephant. I put it on my nightstand and I forgot about it, honestly. 6 months later at a writing retreat, I looked at someone I kind of knew and said, don't you have something to do with Africa? She said, well, yes, I go with a group of friends who at that time I'm in my Martha Beck life coach training. And she's a Martha Beck coach and her friends are Martha Beck coaches. And she goes, oh my God, you'd be perfect. Like, oh God, for what? And it turned out she had helped arrange a group of friends going and she couldn't go anymore. Would I like her discounted seat on a safari?
Oh, wow.
Like, talk about anything being possible when you open up your mind, right?
Yeah.
So
Divine
that
intervention. You
right fell
manifested
in
that
my
trip.
lap. And so I was like, let me think about that. Yes. Yes, I'm going. Yes. And the first time I went there, and every time since, so where I go is in South Africa, on the eastern coast of South Africa, particularly north of Durban, in a region called KwaZulu Natal, and it's right near the Indian Ocean and the whales spouting in the distance, which we also see on our retreats, and then the safaris a little inland. And the first time I went there, and every time since, it just has broken my heart open, like in the best way possible. To be out there in nature all day long, to be in these such energetically special places, to have, um, and I want to be respectful because some of us have come from there more recently than others, but it's all our primal homeland. Mitochondrial Eve came from the African continent, and all of us did. And so there's a connection with Mama Africa. There's like the connection to place. There's being out in nature all day long. We we live in all these walls that we've constructed, and they may be rather elaborate beaver dams, and we may not think we're part of nature, but we are. We are animals. And it's so clear to me when I'm there to see what's real and what's not real. Like this life and death struggle with these cheetah and this impala, real.
Yeah.
What my mother-in-law thinks of me, mm, not so real,
No.
right?
Oh, that's so powerful.
So
Yeah.
connecting with this power and this place and the primal nature um, really connected me to my true self and to what was real. And it was like coming home to a place I'd never been before. To be driving along in this safari vehicle and watch a lioness climb a tree 20 feet in front of you and be eye to eye with you because there's stadium seating in the car and look at you like, I see you. And not in some scary, I'm going to eat you kind of way.
Yeah.
Just like I see deep in your soul. And it's really hard to argue anymore that you're separate. When you can feel that deep connection, you can feel how more similar we are than different to these animals, right? Like we have a lot more trappings, but we are at our heart animals too. And when we can reconnect with that nature, where we can reconnect with wonder and oneness and all that is, we can really change our mindset and create from a limitless place.
Yeah, I love that. And the idea of connection. And I know Africa is an extreme, yet just travel in general, or even not even travel, just wherever you live. I
100%.
think as humans, we've lost, that connection. I mean, I was traveling just last week, and I had 4 flights, and every one of them had a delay, and it was just, like, so hard to, you get so caught up in all the things involving travel that are annoying, are difficult, are expensive, are just not what you want, that you forget the fact that, even in the airport, you can connect to the place if you just relax and you just kind of, watch the planes. I mean, when you sit there and watch a plane take off, that's still amazing that this giant thing can fly. I mean, and we lose the sense of wonder so often in the world. And I know going to some place like Africa can really help get it back, but really you can get that sense of wonder anywhere. I mean, you can go sit outside, and look at the grass for a few minutes. And I mean, if you look at the grass, you can actually watch the grass grow. You could actually see things happening. It's, and the fact that we lose that connection to nature, that connection to the animals really does keep us, it does keep us separate, and we lose that power there.
It's
So,
true. And when you do go out in the grass, make sure you take your shoes off so you can also feel it. You can also ground in because it's true. Wonder is available everywhere. You can connect with animals in your backyard. You can learn the lessons from the squirrels or from like I saw a huge blue jay outside my window the other day. And, what are the messages from the animals? You can always connect. That's one of the things what we do on retreat is we invite in the messages, and I help my clients interpret the messages that the animals have for them in whatever area they're transforming. Because this is a transformational retreat. The intention is to be changed. We go there one way and we come back another way. And it includes calls before and after to help us like seed the ground and to integrate because I don't want anyone to have a peak experience and not bring it home with them.
mm,
My intention is for people to create from that place of wonder, oneness, connection, and universal love. Because what would you create differently if you knew, like you knew, like you knew that you are so loved and supported? And if you spend that time in your local park or in nature or in grass outside your door, and you're looking closely at all the little creatures and all the things that are going on that you don't notice. You're connecting you're connecting to something higher. You're connecting in a new way. Even just like you said, going within in the airport, taking a few deep breaths and noticing the wonder of a giant metal tube can fly. And we take it for granted, right? Or the view from the sky. We can always be connecting to something greater.
yeah, I think that's so important, that, the power of place. It's easy to see and it's easy to feel if you're in Africa, if you're in a beautiful Caribbean island where you have the beautiful beaches and you're watching dolphins swim, and,
You're
if
going
you're
snorkeling,
if you're right, if you're going snorkeling or
scuba
scuba diving
diving.
with the animals, it's easy to see. Yet the real power of the place is being able to take that and bring it home with you and have it everywhere, and not lose it and not leave it there, because that's, I think, so many of us, we do go on, vacations, but even, and a vacation can be transformational, but often the purpose of vacation is not the transformation, it's
Right.
the
It's just to get
fun,
away.
just to get
Yes,
away.
absolutely.
Yet we still, we leave it there. And then even in retreats, I know, and I've probably done this myself in past, you go on a retreat and you're excited and you get these amazing experiences, and you get magic, and you feel power and you are changed, and then you come home and you forget, you and
Yes.
maybe for
Yes. It's
a couple
easy to
months,
do.
and then you forget. So bringing that power home with you, and having that transformation continue, and then going back the next year and getting it again or again.
So that's what I discovered. So as I went back more and more often, I think initially I went something like 6 times in 5 years. Like I just
Wow.
wanted to go more and more often. And I eventually realized when I started feeling called to work Africa into my business, people were trying to tell me what that meant. Oh, you should go to Africa again. Oh, you should take people. But really, what I needed to do was to figure out a way to bring Africa home with me. And so that's when I spent a year and really went in deep. And I did 100-day lessons from lions project, where different photos I'd taken of lions over the years, I looked at for the messages and the symbolism and the lessons, and how I thought, like, this pile of lionesses and cubs looked just to me like my sister and I and my nieces piled on the couch watching movies.
Huh.
And what does that mean to me to have that, community of women? And so I reflected for a year, and I tuned in and created my Tune In and Trust program for my clients, to create a system where you really can bring that home, where you really can um, translate that connection into an everyday feeling. And like, we use certain practices, which we do on retreat and on the calls. But you're so right. It's great to have peak experiences, but we want to bring it home. And so I learned a way to bring it home for myself first. And now I share it with my clients on my Open to the Magic retreats.
Mm, that's amazing. So tell us a little bit of, I know your African retreats, they are all about the power of place, yet they're also about the power of really being taken care of, because they're not
Yes,
just, they're yeah, they're transformational. But they also let you feel like what it feels like to be loved and to be cared for. So tell us a little bit about that.
100%. That's completely my intention, that you come away feeling a felt sense of what it's like to be loved and adored by the universe, by the land and the animals, and by me.
Mm,
Because when we connect with that, we're always taken care of. Which, on one level, we may know, many of us are spiritual seekers, and we know that that's true. Like, we know that things are happening for us, not to us. We've read all the same books. We've
yeah.
gone on the same courses. And yet, how often do we live it on our everyday life? We often get this download, and then we come back over here and strive and struggle to do it ourselves or make it happen. And the allowing, the surrendering is part of the Open in the Magic process. So it's really set up to pamper you. It's ultra luxurious, which might be one of the things that challenges you. It might be the investment in yourself. It might be the distance. It might be the level of pampering. Like,
Mm,
the we start out at a beach villa on the Indian Ocean, literally with the whales spouting off the coast, and we're hearing the ocean roar, and we have this gorgeous view as we settle into the spirit of the place in Mama Africa. And then we move to safari, and 6 nights in this area in KwaZulu Natal that is so magical. And it has so many different ecosystems. It has this magical sand forest where everything, all the trees and all the shrubs and everything, grows out of sand, little sand
mm,
dunes. So there's a quiet to the place. And there are little tiny daikas, which are kind of like chihuahuas on stilts. And they're running around like little sprites in the forest. And there's this hush and this feeling that you tune into in this place. And you really get a transmission from the energy of the land as well as the people. So you see how the animals are taken care of, but I've set it up so you are completely taken care of from the moment you touch down in Durban. Like, everything is included. You don't have to think about tips. You don't even have to think about you're spending money at the craft market. I've got you covered for that too. Like, because
mm,
I want you to feel that sense of being deeply cared for. So I create surprises along the way. There are little different activities that pop up, different presents that you get. And this can be challenging for some people, to let themselves be taken care of. So many, especially women, but so many strong, soul centered people are used to taking care of
Carol.
others. And can you let yourself be cared for the way you usually care for others? Can you give yourself permission? Like, can you give yourself permission to receive? Because I see Open to the Magic as about increasing your capacity to receive. Like,
Mm,
to receive all that is, receive that pure light and that pure love, and whatever the amazing things the universe has in store for you. And that's not to say life is always going to be perfect. No, things are going to happen. But when you know that it's happening for your good, when you are confident in that I am loved and I am cared for, you handle things differently.
No, that's so true. Yeah. No, so many of us say we want to live in abundance, and yet we fight things being given to us because we feel like, oh, uh, it's too hard for me, or I don't deserve this. And
Or
really,
it's
when,
selfish.
right.
That's a big one, right?
Mhm. And being you have to be selfish. Nobody else is going to be selfish, and unless you can truly care for yourself and love yourself, you can't really care for someone else. So I think that is really
So true.
important, that being pampered, understand, letting someone else take care of you, letting someone do everything for you. It's something we rarely ever get. I know we rarely ever get to experience it, and it is hard to experience without going away. And that's why retreats are so powerful,
It is.
because it's hard to say, I'm just going to sit here and let I mean, I did this weekend. It was my Friday was my birthday, Sunday was Mother's Day, and I said, this weekend I'm just not doing anything I don't want to do, and I just didn't. And I read 2 novels, and it was hard.
I love
I
that.
let the dishes pile up in the sink. Now this morning I had to clean them because they were driving me nuts, but I didn't want to do dishes for 2 days, so I didn't. And it's hard to do that at home.
It is. And you're right. That's why we go on. That's why retreats are so powerful, because we dedicate the time to our own growth, expansion, like to ourselves, right? Just
Hmm.
because it's the opposite of selfish. When we take care of ourselves, then we give to our families from overflow. Then we're lit up to spend time with them. We have more energy, not less. Like when we learn to take care of ourselves, we really can better care of each other. And so it is kind of extreme on my retreat in Africa. The lodge in the Safari Lodge at Pinda is very luxurious. We not only have our own private butler and our own private chef, we have our own private baker.
Oh.
We have someone who bakes cakes and tea cakes every afternoon, all artisanal breads, gluten free if you want. I'm sorry for anyone on keto, but if you're gluten free, you're still covered, and having that level of. So I had one client who saw the tea cake and was like, "Well, we didn't finish it. It's a big, beautiful cake. We didn't finish it, and there was some kind of fancy icing on it." She's like, "Would it be okay if I ate just the icing?" I'm like, "Honey, ask anybody else, but you can eat all the icing. If no one in our group wants the rest of the icing, you can have all the icing. It's ours." Like they have systems if we don't eat everything that it doesn't go to waste, but it's ours. This is ours. And what if we viewed life like that? This is ours. And
Hmm.
we can have all of it. I mean, and yes, there will be times you have to wash the dishes. I'm not saying that, but like we really limit ourselves with our thinking. So
Hmm.
by the second night, she was like, could I eat all the skin on the chicken? Like, again, ask if everyone's finished. But yes, like, yes, you can have all the skin on the chicken. Like, and she just really couldn't believe it. Like, is this really all for me? Like, and I feel like when we learn it is all for us, it really expands our capacity to give to others. Like, because we have more energy, we have more joy, we have more, freedom in our decision making when we're not like, oh no, I can't.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, living that life where not a life of deprivation, because there is no
Yes.
reason. The world is abundant, and there is enough, and we don't see that every day. And it's part of it is because we don't allow ourselves to take what's offered to us. And
Yes.
and enough doesn't always mean things like money, or things like, it's like, I mean, I love when you see people who are living with very little, but yet they have everything they want. It's a total transformational idea. And I feel like, yeah, I mean, retreats, but particularly Africa, or places where we're taken away from this materialistic way that we think of in this country, is and in these countries that are very, where possessions are important, that having enough isn't about the possessions, it's about the experience. It's about what can you take into your life.
I
And
do think that's a really good point, that the power of experience in a new place is just exponential, because when you're out of your home environment, when you're out of your routine, when you're out of your, maybe it's a rut, when you're in this new environment, in this new place, it's like, for me, it's like all my nerve endings are like standing at attention. I notice more things. I'm more open. I'm seeing new things. I'm experiencing new things. And that that power to getting away, that power to a new place, to seeing things differently, to have a new perspective, can, like you say, be transformational in itself. Not that everyone views a trip as a, like, mind opening or way to personal growth, but it can be. It can
mhm,
be. And so, like, place can really, so there are levels at which this place can affect you. Like, you're seeing new things, you're experiencing new things. You can tune in and sit in the grass and feel the, like, earth underneath you and the energy of the land, and connect to the messages from the animals. You can look at the way different cultures handle things. There are so many ways that place can be really powerful in changing your mindset, or opening your
mhm.
mindset, expanding it.
Right. Yeah, it could just get you outside of your comfort zone, just a
100%.
different place because we live so much where we are. I mean, even when you travel, so many people go back, and going back to the same place is fine, but when you're back there, see it differently. Because every time, like,
Love
and
that.
you said you've done so many trips to Africa. Have any of them been the same?
No, and I actually had somebody at a safari lodge go, "Why do you keep coming back?" Because to him, it was a bucket. It was like a list. I saw a lion, I saw a cheetah, I saw a rhino, and he had checked all the boxes, and he didn't. I'm like, but okay, so I've seen a lion roar, and I've seen a lion mating, but have I ever seen a cub this young? Have I ever seen the way animals interact is fascinating. There's so many lessons in their behavior and their actions, and
Mm,
it's always constantly changing what you see. Last time we got to go on a cheetah hunt. Like, we drove up, and it was dusk, and I don't know how they didn't quite see each other. But on the right side of the road was a cheetah, on the left side of the road was an impala, and they were just for, it felt like an eternity, but it was probably a split second, staring at each other. Like, 10 feet in front of our car on either side of the road. And it happened like that. And they took off after each other. And our guide at the time, Doomy, is he could drive just as fast backwards as he can forward. So he yells, "Hang on." And we all grab the bar, and he takes off backwards, and he rounds the corner, and we see them come across the road, and then we dash around another thing, and we see them. So we got to live a cheetah hunt. Now, it wasn't actually successful that day, which has a high percentage of happening, but it's not just seeing a cheetah, it's
mm,
experiencing the wild, it's experiencing these new behaviors, and being in this place, and seeing how animals interact and what messages they have for us. Like, who wouldn't want to go on a cheetah hunt, for heaven's sake? Like,
mm.
oh, I checked off, I saw one. It's not the same thing for me. There are
No.
an infinite number of things to see, and behaviors, and ways to connect.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Yeah, that sounds, every time I hear this story, it gives me goosebumps. So I know I like to keep these to about 30 minutes because I know people don't like to listen long. So if someone is interested in your retreat, Lisa, how can they find you?
Absolutely. They can go to opentothemagic.com or opentothemagicinafrica.com, and you can hear more stories. You can hear a whole leopard tale about us spending the day tracking down a leopard, which was a fun story. And they can see more pictures, and they can connect to that spirit and see if they're feeling called to something bigger than they may have dreamed possible, to allowing themselves to receive, to connecting to that wonder and that oneness. See if that's calling them.
The call, that's truly the call, from the call of the wild, the call to, yeah. And be open to that call. Lisa and I met through an event somewhere. We connected because we really both believe in these transformational experiences. I have a retreat too where I'm incorporating, another otherworldly experiences, which is being underwater. and scuba diving. For me, it's Plunge into Possibilities. Is
Mm.
plungeintopossibilities.com is where we're going to get that. But I wanted to mention to you all, if you are corporate or business or want to do retreats and don't have that desire to plan, to find, you just want to give that experience to your clients or your employees. I love the planning. I love the designing, and I am actually offering a done for you service. So if you're interested, send me an email, put it in the comments, send me a note. I would love to talk and see if I can help you with that. But that's something that, for me, the planning is almost as much fun as the experiencing, because I love it, and it's in my zone of genius. And so many people, Lisa's done that, and she's can clearly is an amazing
Yes,
planner, but some
it's
people
one of
don't
my it's
love
one of
it.
the things I love too, yes.
Yeah, some people don't. Some people want to
It's
experience it.
true.
They want to, and they want to give that experience, but yet they don't want to deal with menus and locations and venues and all that other stuff. They don't want to
So true.
worry about gift bags and planning things for them. They just want to show up and be brilliant. So if that's you, you can still have a retreat. I just want you to know that. And there are people that can help you do that. I can help you do that. Lisa, before we go, I know you
Can
wanted
I
to say
say one
something
thing
else. Yes.
before? So I want to say how amazing your plunge into possibilities sounds to me. Like the power of being really present in this new and alien environment and watching whatever happens with the fish and whatever comes in is such a beautiful transformational way to experience the power of place.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm
So I'm
excited about it.
excited for all
I
the
have
people that
not
go
done
with you
this
too.
before. It's a new one, so I hopefully it's amazing. We're doing it this September, and hopefully it's something I do over and over again, because I know as a scuba diver, being underwater has always been a transformational experience. Yet it was never done with intention. It was always just happened, and to put that intention into it of just being there
Yes.
and to
Yes, exactly.
get that, it is really going to help us with the power of place. So Lisa, before we go, I'd love to ask you, what else would you like to share? What message would you like to
So
leave with the audience?
I think something you said earlier really hit the mark. You can connect with that wonder and that oneness anywhere, anytime. And I find animals are an easy way in, like watching the animals that show up for you if you're having a big decision. Like a few weeks ago, I was in the midst of a huge decision, and then I, I kid you not, an eagle swooped by and landed in a tree in front of our window.
Wow.
And like that invitation to have a higher perspective, to like have an eagle-eyed view. You could there are tons of online dictionaries for animal oracles. You can look up the meaning, but you can also just intuit what it means to you. And I do have a fun way to connect with that, which is I have a virtual animal oracle card pull with art I made from my own safari experiences, my own art medicine practices. So it's an energetic transmission in addition to a virtual artwork. And the messages are from stories I gathered on retreat, from experiences I had with the animals, not just saying elephants are strong, which of course they are. Totally true. But like from my own personal experiences with elephants. And so I share some lessons, I share a story, and I share some tips for how that energy might serve in a time of transition. So if animal oracles seem like an easy way into wonder for you, you can check that out at animaloracleenergy.com.
Animaloracleenergy.com. We will put the links in the chat once these recordings are up, but that sounds fascinating. I may need to look into that, because,
Yay.
yeah, even
I'd be
just,
curious what animal shows up for you.
yeah, I always kind of I feel like the dolphin is my spirit animal,
I
yet
see
they're,
that. I love it. And
yeah,
can I move the camera a little for my
yeah,
elephants and my baby cheetahs?
beautiful. Yes, my dolphin is actually from Africa. So an African
He's from
village.
Jace.
Yes, it's from Jay Souter. Has he supports an African village that supports children who are being, trafficked, basically sold into working, and this organization takes these children back, and they make this amazing artwork. They have so many amazing artists, and the dolphin is one that I had custom made for me because I love dolphins. So
I love that. And I really do think animals are a good way. Like if praying is great, meditating is wonderful, but I feel like connecting with animals is a fun and maybe easier way in to connecting to something greater.
Mm.
Like it's just another opportunity to connect beyond yourself.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be far away. It could be the local squirrel or
Absolutely.
even your own pets, your dog, your cat, your
Yes, absolutely. 100. They're full of information.
hmm. Well, thank you, Lisa. As always, this has been great talking with you. And I wish I could go on your retreat this year, but hopefully next year. And
Absolutely.
hopefully you will be able to come on one of mine as well.
Yes, I would love
And maybe
that.
we can do one together where we scuba dive off the coast of South Africa before doing the safari.
Ooh,
So I think we
that's
need to
super
talk about
intriguing.
that.
Okay, we'll talk
Hmm.
more.
All right. So
Thank you
thank you,
so much.
everyone. And if you have any questions or comments, this will be on Facebook. This will be on LinkedIn, eventually on YouTube. So you can connect with us in the chat. We will look for your answers or reach out. And thank you so much.